So I said, okay, great. What price did you have in mind? So he told me that he had in mind the number of $32 million. So, some brokers would have taken that number and run with it. I didn't. I went and did some market analysis, really sharpened my pencil, did a lot of research, and came back and told him that I thought that we would go to market at $45 million,
Wow.
which is what we did. We went to market at 45 million. We ended up selling the properties for him for $47.5 million.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm your host, Micah Johnson, and today I'm joined by Dan Lewkowicz, who's been making some serious moves in the commercial real estate investing industry for quite some time now. Dan, welcome in, man. Glad to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I think our listeners are really going to take away some great information from our talk today. First, I'm excited. I've followed you on LinkedIn for a long time, seeing what you have going on, and now I'm getting to talk to you today. So that's pretty cool. I always think that's interesting. And two, just your path through real estate. Another thing I'm big on this show about is showing people it's a big umbrella, finding your way in it until you hit that thing that just boom, it does it for you. Pays that emotional paycheck and that financial one and gives you that just momentum to grow. So let's dive in, man. For people who may not know you yet, what's your main focus right now and what markets you currently operating in?
Yeah, appreciate that. So I am a net lease investment sales broker. I work nationwide. What that means as a net lease investment sales broker is that I assist and advise buyers and sellers in the purchase and sale of net lease investment sales real estate all across the country. So I focus primarily on two different types of net lease property. The first bucket is single tenant net lease property. So you can think about your Chick-fil-A's, your McDonald's, your Walgreens, your Taco Bells, your discount retailers like Family Dollars and Dollar Generals, single tenant medical office buildings. On the other side, I work with multi-tenant properties as well, like your neighborhood shopping centers, larger multi-tenant malls or larger shopping centers, anywhere from 20,000 to 200 or 300,000 square feet. I also sell multi-tenant medical office buildings. I have veered out of those boxes as well into vacant office buildings as well as waterfront resorts. But the majority of what I do falls into those two categories of single tenant net lease properties as well as multi-tenant net lease properties.
Interesting. So you get to see a variety of deals come across your desk. What's been one that sticks out for you in a good way? A deal it was cool to work on, everything flowed. What was your favorite one?
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Oh, I mean, there's been so many. I mean, I've got so many different stories over the years of fascinating properties. I would have to say that there was definitely like a series of deals that came about in an odd fashion. At a certain point in time, we do a lot of different outreach in terms of sourcing our deals. But at a certain point in time, I had an intern as well as an assistant that were both working for me, and we were doing a lot of outreach via email. And I had sold about a half a dozen quick service restaurant properties, fast food properties over a series of a few months. So we had an outreach campaign sending out emails to Wendy's owners in the state of Michigan. Reached out to one Wendy's owner via email, let him know about some Wendy's properties that we had sold recently in the state of Michigan, and he had mentioned that he was interested in selling his property. Put together a pricing evaluation for him. He was interested in selling at a price, that was in line with what we had proposed. Put his property on the market. I think we had 10 or 11 offers within the first few weeks.
Wow.
Got the property under contract, closed the deal. Really enjoyed getting to know him. He didn't, kept his cards pretty close to his chest. Didn't let it be known exactly what he owned, but I got the feeling that he owned other property as time went on. As we got to closing, he made mention that him and his family owned a number of hotels. And I kept in touch with him. And a couple of months later, I was actually recording my podcast. During the podcast, I saw that I missed a call from him, couldn't answer, missed another call from him, walked out of the studio, picked up my phone, called him, and I said, "What do you want to sell?" And he said to me, "How do you know I want to sell something?" I said, "Because you rarely call me, let alone 2 times in a row." So he said, "Yeah, my brother and I, we want to sell the resorts." So I said, "Okay, great. What price did you have in mind?" So he told me that he had in mind the number of $32 million. So, some brokers would have taken that number and run with it. I didn't. I went and did some market analysis, really sharpened my pencil, did a lot of research, and came back and told him that I thought that we would go to market at $45 million.
Wow.
Which is what we did. We went to market at 45 million. We ended up selling the properties for him for $47.5 million.
Wow.
Right. So, which I love, because here's an individual who I got to know, who trusted me with, family heirlooms, with real estate that had been in the family for a long time. And we were able to keep an extra, tens of millions of dollars in his family's pocket, just because of the fact that we, went and did our homework and gave him a valuation that we really believed in, and that we felt the market was supporting it, and it really did. So, really great individual. I've gotten to know him over the years, and I've learned a lot from him over these ensuing years.
That's beautiful, man. I love hearing it because that's what a true real estate professional does. We'll dig into your history in a second, but I just want to talk about that thing you talked about right there. You got a number that, is a big number. Some people, like you said, will run right to it, but it wasn't, you saw it as, no, this is the opportunity to do this. So let me do all my homework, really put it together. And you're talking about selling for $15.5 million more than he was originally at. That's not a little bit, man. That's
No.
significant. And it's just the value that people like yourself really bring to the deal. Why I believe in it so much, getting true professionals out there, because some folks get a bad rap in real estate, and it's to the detriment of the rest of us, because there are a ton of folks here that dedicate themselves to what you're talking about, doing the right thing, and it works out, and it works out, like you're saying, most of the time. Well, back us up for a second. How did you get into real estate? What led you to being able to close a $47.5 million multiple hotel deal?
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'd have to back it up a whole lot. I could tell you my story of how I personally got into real estate, but I think it goes back a lot further than that, because, my bubby, my maternal grandmother, who is alive and well, super close with her. She's an incredible individual. She's actually 100 years old. She'll be 101 this year. And I've always been really close with her. She came to this country when she was, gosh, in her she came to this country in 1948. So she
Okay.
was 23 years old, I believe. And she came with my mother. My mother was a few months old. They came on an oil tanker after World War II, barely spoke any English. And at a certain point, she had an inheritance from her aunts, a few $1,000s. And I believe she bought a four-family flat, if I'm not mistaken, in Detroit. And when it came time to move from that property, she bought another property, but she didn't sell the first one. She kept the initial property. And so she's like the OG house hacker, right? She kept the
Right.
first one, bought another one. And then when she went to move the family into another property, she kept the second one. And then she kept doing this until at one point, I believe she had ten units that she was managing, running all over the city of Detroit. So, my Bubby had this entrepreneurial spirit in her DNA. And my father was an entrepreneur. He's a pharmacist and he had, pharmacies in the city of Detroit. So I grew up, my whole life watching my father and, my ancestors having this like flair to work hard and achieve. And I think that although it was never told to me that I had to be an entrepreneur myself, I think I saw it by osmosis and it was something that I always wanted. So that's the
Mm,
preamble. That's the
okay.
backstory. In terms of me, back in 2005, when I graduated college in 2006. So back in 2005, I helped my friends start a business. Their father, this is my best friend growing up. So my best friend's father was diagnosed with ALS, which is Lou Gehrig's disease. Incredible man. So unfortunately, in addition to the difficulties of going through a degenerative illness like that, he had the frustrations of dealing with so many different contractors to modify his home to make it handicap accessible. He had to deal with someone for the grab bars, someone for the roll-in shower, someone for the stair glides, someone for the ramps, and it was just one headache after another. So my friend's older brother decided to start a company, and I had a lot of sales background and loved people, loved doing sales. So we kind of teamed up at the time and I helped him to start this company. And my role was sales and marketing. One of the things I like to do was to go out with our project manager and to get a little bit of experience in the field and to see what he would do. So one of the experiences that I had that I'll never forget, that was a big aha moment for me, was that we went out to visit a specific site to see, to put a bid out and see what we could do to help somebody. So we got to this site. It was real far away. I remember that. And we got there, it was a small house. We got to the property. Individual had been in an auto accident 20 years prior, and he was wheelchair bound. Got into the property and went inside. Project manager looked around. I kind of scratched my head. I was like, what are we going to do here? Like, this guy can't even move around this property. Like, we can't do anything for this guy. So I walked out of the property. Project manager walked out. I said, hey, let's go. Let's get in the van. Let's get out of here. He didn't say anything. He just took out his graph paper, took out his pencil, and started sketching. And I'm thinking to myself, what is he doing? Like, what are we going to do? This is a lost cause. There's nothing to do here. And he starts sketching a new front elevation and a new layout for the property. Because what I didn't realize, at 22, 23 years old, was that this guy who knew what he was doing, he could make a few changes and take this property and make it actually work for this individual, make some changes, change some things around, and make it functional for this individual. So that at that moment, I recognized that you could buy a piece of property, make some changes, and add so much value that you now have something that's more valuable than the property and the changes that you made. So fast forward a few years, when it came time for me to buy a home, my first home for my family, and this was in the middle of the recession, so that I want to give some context to the numbers I'm about to share. I went to buy, a house. I was looking at a roughly 1,700 square foot, all brick, 3 bedroom, 2 bath ranch with a basement. I found a property for $175,000, move in ready, right? Which today that sounds like a joke, right? But those were real numbers. So I found a property ready to move in. I was ready to sign a contract. I got word that a couple streets over, there was a bank owned property, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. I think it was also right around 1,700 square feet, full basement, not move in ready. Okay. It was distressed, but it was $81,000 cash. So I borrowed some money from a friend of my parents and I bought the property. And instead of hiring a general contractor, I hired out every single individual trade and I paid them a little bit more. And I told them, I'm going to stand here, I'm going to annoy you, I'm going to ask questions, but I want to learn what you're doing so that I didn't tell them this, but so that I can do this myself, so I can
Gotcha.
manage you moving forward. And what that did was that enabled me to learn how to flip a house myself. So I did that. I managed the whole process. I learned. And by the time I was done renovating that house, I ended up buying another house and another house and another house. And that was my entrance into real estate investing. That was my entrance into house hacking and later house flipping. And that's really how I got my feet wet and how I got into real estate investing.
Man, I love that story. A deep connection goes with it. And then seeing that, I love how it's care about family and then care about somebody else leads you to a world like this that then opens doors to you where you've gone a long way from doing single family homes now to selling the kind of projects you do. So lead us more into that direction. How'd you get from single family to where you are today? And then what all do you dig into?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Yeah. So look, I'm not one of those guys that hides the mistakes and hides the pitfalls, because it has not been all glamour. And the real way that I got into where I am today is because I took that route of house flipping, which, by the way, I was doing it on the side. I had, I have a background in resource development, in fundraising, in title, in sales. I was a business development executive at Amazon. I was doing this on the side. I was flipping houses on the
Okay.
side until finally, eventually, I just said, you know what? I'm going to jump in with both feet. I'm going to go 100% into house flipping. And I started buying trucks and dumpsters and jackhammers and floor sanders and paint sprayers and building crews. And I really got into it. And I started really trying to scale. And I started buying, a lot of houses at a time. And I started renovating a lot of houses at a time. And I started, getting into flips that started going sideways, and I started getting broken into, and I started getting, equipment stolen and cabinets stolen, and things started going, in directions I didn't like. And, I had some bad deals and some bad flips, and I got burned out, and I got burned on certain projects. And that's really what got me into commercial real estate brokerage, is when I finally realized that, you know, I could do a commercial real estate brokerage deal and make more money on a deal that I didn't have to really invest my own capital. Now, where I am today in my business, I do invest a lot of my own capital in my own business, but especially in the beginning, it's not a capital intensive business. It's not
Yeah,
a high risk business. Your risk is your time. Your capital is your time, right?
right.
But comparing that to house flipping, it's not nearly the same, right? So that's really how I got into commercial real estate brokerage, is by just recognizing how risky and how, time intensive and capital intensive, single family house flipping is. And it is a very difficult and risky business to
Mhm.
to scale and to take to a much higher level.
It is. It is. It's a unique personality type that does it, that gets it to the
Yeah.
highest levels. I know a few of them that do it big. And one thing I want to point out that I love to say about real estate is just how big the umbrella is, right? Where someone in it, you can change without leaving the industry behind. There's no greater wealth generator than the American real estate market, and it allows you a lot of ways to plug into it, like you're experiencing. So if you're out there listening to this and maybe you've done the flips and those things and you don't like that part, you experience the part that Dan experienced. You don't just have to trash everything you've done. It's beauty of real estate. Your life experience leverages in. Just use that to the next thing. Which part did you enjoy? What's the interactions that you like doing? Go start doing those. Because I used to do the low
Yeah.
acquisitions part, right? Talking to distressed homeowners all the time. And then it got to a point where that's not the conversation I wanted to have anymore. just didn't want to do that each day. I found myself not able to care about it. And if I can't care about it, then I don't want to take your stuff because now I'm manipulating you, right? That's the side of sales where you learn some ways to get people to do things that they may not have wanted to do or would have done normally. And if you don't actually care, man, you're just taking from people. And that's the part, that makes me want to shift. But again, enjoying that room inside the industry to have that. So for 2026, what are you excited about this year? What's on the horizon for you?
Yeah, I'm excited for kind of to touch on what we spoke about a few moments ago. I'm excited for the ability to leverage my business and take those lower level tasks and outsource them and be able to focus more on what I love, which is speaking to clients, moving deals along in escrow and closing deals. So if I'm able to devote more of my time to those higher level activities, that's going to mean more production for me and more of doing what I love doing. I love those days when I'm in flow and I'm just moving those deals around and I'm solving problems and I'm, tapping into that creative side of myself. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Market wise, I am excited at the potential of what's going to happen with, the federal funds rate. I don't want to say that I am convinced that the federal funds rate will continue to decrease. I mean, I believe, what are we? We're 48 hours away from another Fed decision, right?
Mhm.
So, again, I'm not going to say that the federal funds rate will continue to decrease because we don't really know what's going to happen. If Jerome Twitter's glassesless, if Jerome Powell's glassesless Twitter video was any indication, he's not going to bow to presidential pressures. So, maybe they won't lower the funds rate, but who knows? We'll see. I do think that markets are in a relatively healthy position, and especially the space that I'm in, investment grade real estate, I believe is strong. So I'm excited to see where things go in that regard. I feel like we're in a strong position, and I think there's a lot to look forward to.
I agree, man. I agree. I'm interested for this year. I like to remain curious. There's a lot of things, there's good ingredients out there for some great stuff. So I'm hoping that it comes around as well. Well, Dan, man, I really appreciate your time today, your story, perspective. Thanks for sharing with us. If you're listening out there and you're interested in learning more about Dan, what he has going on, Dan, what's the best way for them to find you?
Yeah, so I'm definitely active on LinkedIn. You can always, follow me on LinkedIn, reach out, shoot me a DM. My first name is Dan, last name is Lewkowicz, Lewkowicz. Again, Lewkowicz. If you have commercial property, net lease property, you want to know what it's worth, or you would like to discuss potentially selling that property, or if you are interested in getting into the brokerage space or investing, and you would like to just chat or bounce some ideas off of someone who's been in the industry for quite some time, feel free to reach out. I will provide my direct cell phone number. It's 248-943-2838. Again, 248-943-2838. If there's anything I can do to add value, it would be my absolute pleasure.
Love that. Thank you. And so if you're listening or watching, please check the show notes. We'll make sure we have Dan's LinkedIn link and his phone number there for you to reach out to him. Like I said earlier, I've followed him for quite some time on LinkedIn. Definitely give him a follow. You'll see a lot of great stuff. As always, touch base with professionals in the industry. One thing I've loved about Dan's story so far today, the way you've educated yourself, man. You went and learned. You didn't just you went and intentionally taught yourself, which I think is the greatest skill you can have in this industry. Because if you know, then you can play the game even better. So reach out to someone who actually knows, take advantage of that. Again, Dan, thanks for being here. Thanks everybody for listening. If you got value out of today's episode, please like this episode, share it with someone else you think can get value as well. As always, please don't forget to subscribe. We appreciate every single one of you out there that follows along with us. We have more conversations coming up with operators just like Dan, who are out there building a real business in the industry. Thanks for joining. We'll see y'all next time.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.